Good day, Grade 7. Today, we are going to discuss Quarter 4, Module 2, Road to Progress, Sustainable Energy Resources. Objectives: cite and explain ways of using Earth's resources sustainably. At the end of this module, you are expected to 1. Identify the natural resources found in the Philippines. 2. Relate the location of the Philippines with the abundance of natural resources of the country. 3. Explain how technology is utilized to harness and use these resources efficiently. And 4. Cite ways on how to conserve and sustain the country's dependence on energy resources. What I know. Choose the letter of the best answer. Write the letter of your choice on your answer sheet. See pages 3 to 5 of Quarter 4, Module 2. What's in? You have learned from your previous discussion on how to locate places on Earth using the degrees of latitude and longitude. In this activity, you are going to identify the country by using the degree of latitude and longitude. Then, match it with the natural resources found on that location. Are you ready to try it? Let's start. Directions: refer to the map below and use the degrees of latitude and longitude to identify what country is asked for. Number 1. 36 degrees north and 138 degrees east. So, we are going to look for the lines of latitude in the northern hemisphere, 36 degrees north, and we are going to look for the line of longitude in the eastern part of the world map. So 138 degrees east. So look for the point of intersection, and we have the country of Japan. Next, 14 degrees north and 121 degrees east. So for the line of longitude, look for it in the northern hemisphere, 14 degrees north and 121 degrees east. So the coordinates intersect at Philippines. Then we have 25 degrees south and 133 degrees east. So the line of longitude should be located in the southern hemisphere, 25 degrees south and 133 degrees east. So this is Australia. From your answer in Table A, match the natural resources found in that country. Number 1, 36 degrees north, 138 degrees east. That country is Japan. Japan has two huge potential areas rich in natural resources, but the two areas have remained largely untapped. These areas are the forest that covers a large portion of the land and the ocean which surrounds the archipelago. At 25 degrees south, 133 degrees east, we have Australia. And in Australia, there are plenty of kangaroos. So kangaroos are large marsupials that are found only in this country. Next, we have 14 degrees north, 121 degrees east, and that is the Philippines. In the Philippines, there are plenty of waling-waling. Waling-waling is the rarest, most beautiful, and most expensive orchid among thousands of species that can be found in the Philippines. Waling-waling is dubbed as the Queen of Philippine Orchids. What's new? Are you familiar with the natural resources provided to us by nature? Do the activity below to find out. Encircle the different natural resources found in the word puzzle below. From your answers in the puzzle, supply the missing words to complete the sentences. So number 1, plants need sunlight, water, and air to live. 2, natural gas and coal are forms of fossil fuel. 3, a windmill uses wind to harness electricity. 4. Minerals are classified as metallic and non-metallic. Animals need air to breathe. Lesson 1. Philippines Natural Resources. The Earth is the third planet from the Sun, and it is viewed from above as a blue planet because of its large bodies of water. The most common are Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, and Indian Ocean. Earth is inhabited by different living things like plants, animals, microorganisms, and humans. What makes the Earth habitable? It is the right distance from the sun, it is protected from harmful solar radiation by its magnetic field, it is kept warm by an insulating atmosphere, and it has the right chemical ingredients for life, including water and carbon. Many natural resources are found on Earth, which includes plants, animals, air, water, sunlight, soil, minerals, and different landforms. Indeed, it is a very fascinating planet. The Philippines is an archipelago consisting of three major islands, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Philippines is an island country of Southeast Asia in the western Pacific Ocean. It is an archipelago consisting of some 7,100 islands and islets lying about 800 kilometers off the coast of Vietnam. Luzon is the largest island. The second largest island of the Philippines is Mindanao in the southeast. Aside from being rich in history, the country is rich in natural resources that include fertile and arable lands, diverse flora and fauna or plants and animals, extensive coastlines which measures about 36,289 kilometers, and rich mineral deposits. Many of these natural resources such as water, wind, solar energy, geothermal energy, natural gas, and coal are used to sustain the country's progress and development towards a globally competitive country. The Philippines is a country rich in natural resources such as minerals, agricultural land, and fisheries. Lesson 2: Philippines Geographical Location in Relation to Abundance in Natural Resources. The Philippines is a tropical country located at 14 degrees north, 121 degrees east on the globe. It has an abundant rainfall, many bodies of water, and year-round sunshine, which accounts for the country's high diversity of plants and animals. Of the 52,177 described species, more than half is endemic to the Philippines. The Philippines is one of the 17 mega biodiverse countries, containing two-thirds of the Earth's biodiversity and 70% of the world's plants and animal species due to its geographical isolation, diverse habitats, and high rates of endemism. Here are some animals endemic to the Philippines. Number 1, Philippine tarsier. The Philippine tarsier is a species of tarsier endemic to the Philippines. It is found in the southeastern part of the archipelago, particularly on the islands of Bohol, Samar, and Leyte. Number 2, Philippine eagle. The Philippine eagle is also known as the monkey-eating eagle or great Philippine eagle. It is an endangered species of eagle of the family Accipitridae, which is endemic to forest in the Philippines. Number 3, Philippine tamarau. The tamarau or Mindoro dwarf buffalo is a small hoofed animal belonging to the family Bovidae. It is endemic to the islands of Mindoro in the Philippines and is the only endemic Philippine bovine. It is believed, however, to have once also thrived on the larger island of Luzon. Here are some endemic plants in the Philippines. Number 1, Philippine rafflesia. The Philippines is one of the centers of rafflesia diversity and is home to 13 currently recognized species. Number 2, Nepenthes philippinensis is a tropical pitcher plant endemic to the Philippines. It is known from Palawan and the neighboring Calamian Islands including Busuanga, Coron, and Colyon, and Linapacan, where it grows at 0 to 600 meters or 2,000 feet above sea level. Number 3, waling-waling. It is the rarest, most beautiful, and most expensive orchid among thousands of species that can be found in the Philippines. Waling-waling is dubbed as the Queen of Philippine Orchids. It is also worshipped as Diwata by the native Bagobos and discovered in the year 1882. According to PAG-ASA, or the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration, there are about 20 typhoons that visit our country each year coming from the Pacific Ocean and the West Philippine Sea. Typhoons and monsoons, amihan and habagat bring lots of rain to our country. The Philippines is prone to tropical cyclones due to its geographical location, which generally produce heavy rains and flooding of large areas and also strong winds, which result in heavy casualties to human life and destructions to crops and properties. Most of the rain are collected by a watershed. A watershed is an area of land on a slope which drains its water into a stream and its tributaries, or small streams that supply water to a main stream. This is the reason why a watershed is sometimes called a catchment area or a drainage basin. A watershed affects the water quality in the body of water that it surrounds. Healthy watersheds provide critical services such as clean drinking water, productive fisheries, and outdoor recreation that supports our economies, environment, and quality of life. There are many watersheds in our country. Some of them are Angat Dam in Bulacan, Pantabangan Dam in Nueva Ecija, La Mesa Dam in Metro Manila, Mount Apo in Davao Cotabato, and Maria Cristina Falls in Iligan City. The Angat Watershed Forest Reserve is a conservation area that protects the drainage basin in the southern Sierra Madre Range north of Metro Manila in the Philippines, where surface water empties into the Angat River and its tributaries. The Pantabangan Karanglan Watershed Forest Reserve is a conservation area located in the upper reaches of the Pampanga River in Nueva Ecija, Philippines, and borders the Sierra Madre and Caraballo Mountains in Aurora and Nueva Vizcaya. It is considered a critical watershed for the agricultural economy and hydroelectric power generation in the region of Central Luzon. The La Mesa Watershed Reservation is a protected area that preserves the only major watershed in Metro Manila, Philippines. Also known as the Novaliches Watershed, it contains the last remaining rainforest of its size in Metro Manila surrounding the La Mesa Dam and Reservoir, the primary source of potable drinking water for 12 million residents in the Metro Manila area. Mount Apo is the watershed of over 19 river systems located in Davao City, Davao del Sur, Bukidnon, and Cotabato. The northern and western areas of the park are part of the catchment basin of the Mindanao River. This river system drains through the Liguasan Marsh and Cotabato Valley in the Moro Gulf. Maria Cristina Falls is a waterfall of the Agus River in the northern Mindanao region of the Philippines. It is sometimes called the Twin Falls as flow is separated by a rock at the brink of the waterfall. It is located in Iligan City, Lanao del Norte. People use water in many ways. That is why watersheds are considered essential in our lives. We use water for domestic purposes, for irrigation, and for industries. It is also used to generate electricity and for recreation. The country is also part of the so-called Pacific Ring of Fire, which is associated with lots of volcanoes in the Pacific. The Ring of Fire, also referred to as the Circum-Pacific Belt, is a path along the Pacific Ocean characterized by active volcanoes and frequent earthquakes. The majority of Earth's volcanoes and earthquakes take place along the Ring of Fire. The richness of mineral resources is due to the continuous source of heat deep under the earth which melts rocks and other materials. These molten rocks and other materials are called magma. Under favorable temperature and pressure, the metal-containing rocks continuously melt and redeposit, eventually forming rich mineral veins. About 30% of the land area of the country was determined to be geologically prospective by the Philippine Mines and Geosciences Bureau. The country's mineral deposits can be classified into metals and nonmetals. Our metal deposits are estimated at 21.5 billion metric tons, while nonmetal deposits are projected at 19.3 billion metric tons. Nickel ranks first in terms of deposits and size. It is found in Surigao del Norte, Davao, Palawan, Romblon, and Samar. Iron is found in Ilocos Norte, Nueva Ecija, Camarines Norte, and Cotabato, while copper in Zambales, Batangas, Mindoro, Panay, and Negros. Among non-metal deposits, the most abundant are cement, lime, and marble. Other non-metals include asbestos, clay, guano, asphalt, feldspar, sulfur, talc, silicon, phosphate, and marble. Here is a list of metallic and non-metallic minerals found in the Philippines. Let us first start with metallic. Gold is found in Baguio, province of Benguet, and it is used for jewelry. Copper is found in Baguio. It is used for electrical wires. Iron is found in Ilocos Norte, and it is used for building and road construction. Cobalt is found in the Surigao district. It is used for batteries and electroplating. Nickel, mixed with other metals, is found in Surigao del Norte, and it is used for stainless cooking wares. For non-metallic minerals, we have sand, used to purify water, and it is found in Zambales. Gravel is used for roof shingles. It is found in Albay and Sorsogon. Limestone is used for construction and architecture. It is found in Bohol. Marble is used for tiles. It is found in Bulacan and Romblon. Clay is used for pottery, and it is first used in South Cotabato. The Philippines is the fifth most mineral-rich country in the world for gold, nickel, copper, and chromite. It is home to the largest copper-gold deposit in the world. The Mines and Geosciences Bureau has estimated that the country has an estimated $840 billion worth of untapped mineral wealth as of 2012. Lesson 3. Utilization and Conservation of Natural Resources. The Philippines has many energy sources because of its abundant supply from nature. These resources are utilized or harnessed so they can efficiently supply some of the country's need for energy and to not totally depend on importation. The following are energy sources which the country is utilizing in order to catch up with the high demands from different industries in order to boost our economy. Water. Hydropower plants capture the energy of falling water to generate electricity. A turbine converts the kinetic energy of falling water into mechanical energy. Then, a generator converts the mechanical energy from the turbine into electrical energy. Most hydroelectric power plants have a reservoir of water, a gate or valve to control how much water flows out of the reservoir, and an outlet or place where the water ends up after flowing downward. The water gains potential energy just before it spills over the top of a dam or flows down a hill. The potential energy is converted into kinetic energy as water flows downhill. The water can be used to turn the blades of a turbine to generate electricity, which is distributed to the power plant's customers. Wind. Anything that moves has kinetic energy, and scientists and engineers are using the wind's kinetic energy to generate electricity. Wind energy or wind power is created using a wind turbine, a device that channels the power of the wind to generate electricity. The wind blows the blades of the turbine, which are attached to a rotor. The rotor then spins a generator to create electricity. Wind energy turns two or three propeller-like blades around a rotor. The rotor is connected to the main shaft, which spins a generator to create electricity. Sun. Solar power is usable energy generated from the sun in the form of electric or thermal energy. Solar energy is captured in a variety of ways, the most common of which is with photovoltaic solar panels that convert the sun's rays into usable electricity. Solar panels work by absorbing sunlight with photovoltaic cells generating direct current or DC energy and then converting it to usable alternating current or AC energy with the help of inverter technology. AC energy then flows through the home's electrical panel and is distributed accordingly. Geothermal. The islands of the Philippines sit over a tectonically active area, the Ring of Fire, that rims the Pacific Ocean. Government and industry in the Philippines have invested in flash steam geothermal power plants, and today, the nation is second only to the United States in its use of geothermal energy. Hot water is pumped from deep underground through a well under high pressure. When the water reaches the surface, the pressure is dropped, which causes the water to turn into a steam. The steam spins a turbine, which is connected to a generator that produces electricity. So, in this picture of a flash steam power plant, we see here that hot water from underground is pumped into a cooler temperature flash tank. The sudden change in temperature creates a steam which powers the generator. So as steam is introduced into this part of the power plant, it runs a turbine, the turbine is connected to a generator, and the generator generates electricity. Natural gas. Natural gas is a non-renewable energy source which is an odorless, colorless, flammable, and non-toxic hydrocarbon. The largest component is methane. Natural gas is a fuel to provide power to factories or even households. Crude oil and natural gas occur in pockets under the ground. Like other deposits, they are extracted by drilling a hole down through the rocks into the oil or gas. For undersea deposits, the drills are mounted on a platform called a drilling rig. The oil or gas is usually pumped ashore through pipelines. The Malampaya Deepwater Gas-to-Power project signaled the birth of natural gas industry in the Philippines. It delivers up to 20% of the country's electricity requirements using indigenous resources of natural gas, the cleanest burning hydrocarbon, and it reduces the need for imported oil. The Malampaya Deepwater Gas-to-Power project utilizes state-of-the-art technology to extract natural gas from the depths of the Palawan Basin. It then processes the gas in a nearby shallow water production platform and transports it across three provinces through a 504-kilometer underwater pipeline. An onshore gas plant in Batangas receives the gas for further processing before it is sent to 5 power plant customers. Coal. Coal is a black or brownish-black solid rock that can be burned. It contains about 40% non-combustible components, thus a source of air pollution when used as fuel. Coal deposits are scattered over the Philippines. The largest deposit is found in Semirara Island, Antique. Coal mines are also found in Cebu, Zamboanga Sibugay, Albay, Surigao, and Negros provinces. Coal-fired plants produce electricity by burning coal in a boiler to produce steam. The steam is produced under tremendous pressure. It flows into a turbine which spins a generator to create electricity. The steam is then cooled, condensed back into water, and returned to the boiler to start the process over. In terms of electricity generation, 41.4% of the electricity demand is met by geothermal energy, 28% by coal, 11.4% by hydro, 15% by natural gas, 0.1% by wind, solar, and biofuel. In terms of installed capacity for power generation, hydro is 63.2%, geothermal is 35.1%, biomass is 1.1%, wind is 0.6%, and solar is 0.1%. Lesson 4. Conservation of natural resources. Look at the pictures below. Can you describe each? So for the first picture, turning off the tap when brushing your teeth. Picture 2, turning the appliances and lights off when not using them. Picture 3, playing with a worm. And picture number 4, planting a tree. Which action shows conservation of natural resources? Natural resources are made by nature. Most of this took a very long period before we can make use of them. Today, we are still enjoying the gift of nature to us, but we should not waste it because it will take more than our lifetime before it can be replaced and be used again. Do you know the classification of natural resources? These natural resources may be classified into renewable and non-renewable resources. Renewable resources are those that can be used repeatedly, just like water and wind. A renewable resource can replenish itself at the rate it is used. So some examples of renewable energies are hydropower, wind energy, solar energy, geothermal energy, and biomass energy. Non-renewable resources are those that cannot be replaced easily, like fossil fuels, minerals, and soil. Fossil fuel comes from the remains of plants and animals that are buried thousands of years ago. A fossil fuel is formed by natural processes such as anaerobic decomposition of buried dead organisms containing organic molecules originating in ancient photosynthesis that release energy in combustion. Fossil fuels took a lot of years before it is formed into fuel that we are enjoying today. It cannot be replaced easily. The rate that we are consuming it is a lot faster than the rate when it was produced. What if there comes a scarcity of these resources? Have you thought about it? All nations depend on natural resources to support its needs and the demands of their growing economy. In order to sustain these demands, we must utilize these resources the best way possible. People often waste natural resources. Animals are overhunted, forests are cleared, exposing land to wind and water damage. Fertile soil is exhausted and lost to erosion because of poor farming practices. Fuel supplies are depleted, water and air are polluted. How can people manage the use of Earth's resources? Conservation is key. Conservation is the wise use of natural resources. Conservation is the practice of caring for these resources so all living things can benefit from them now and in the future. Here are some ways to protect and sustain the needs of humankind. 1. Forests must be managed efficiently to regain continued supply of resources. 2. Protect wildlife by implementing strict laws and creating awareness programs. 3. Use water wisely to ensure its lasting supply. 4. Measures to conserve minerals. First, use of minerals in a planned and sustainable manner. Second, recycling of metals. Third, use of alternative renewable substitutes. And the last, improvement of technology to use the low-grade ores profitably. There are many ways we can participate in restoring these resources to fully sustain the demands of its consumers. If we were to take it for granted, we would go back to the age when our ancestors lived without electricity and vehicles. And we would not be able to enjoy the products of technology like the internet connectivity, use of cell phones, and other gadgets and convenience. Conservation is key. Conservation allows us to use these natural resources wisely. If resources are carelessly managed, many will be used up. If used wisely and efficiently, however, resources will last much longer. Through conservation, people can reduce waste and manage natural resources wisely. We can start with the very basic. We start with ourselves. In our own little ways, we can be good stewards of planet Earth. It is as simple as turning off the faucet and electrical appliances when not in use. Conserving water helps conserve energy and reduce carbon pollution. Turning appliances when not in use helps you save electricity. Doing this can make your home more energy efficient. Planting trees, crops, vegetables, and ornamental plants. Trees are vital. As the biggest plants on the planet, they give us oxygen, store carbon, stabilize the soil, and give life to the world's wildlife. They also provide us with the materials for tools and shelter. Walking short distances instead of riding a vehicle. Walking is the best way to help the environment. One study concluded that walking a mile and a half would release 75% less greenhouse gases than we would produce from driving the same distance. Driving less doesn't just help the environment, it can also make us healthier. Participating in environment awareness programs of the community. Environmental awareness programs helps people to understand how their decisions and actions affect the environment, builds knowledge and skills necessary to address complex environmental issues, as well as ways we can take action to keep our environment healthy and sustainable for the future. To be an Earth warrior is a responsibility that we must accept and put into action. After all, Earth has given us everything that we need and we will be needing in the years to come. Promoting environmental awareness is a crucial part of being an environmental steward. Start participating in the change and teach your community what is needed to create a sustainable future. Let us now discuss the different activities that you need to answer in What's More. Independent Activity 1. Write the word true if the statement is correct and false if it is not. Next, draw a happy emoticon if the statement below is about natural resources, and if not, draw a sad emoticon. Independent Assessment 1. Choose the letter of the best answer. Independent Activity 2. Identify what is asked by choosing the word in the choices below. So the choices are typhoon, monsoon, watershed, Pacific Ring of Fire, and magma. Next, write M if the given mineral is metallic and write NM if it is non-metallic. Independent Assessment 2. Choose the letter of the best answer. So here are the questions and the choices for number 1 to 5. Here are the questions and the choices for number 6 up to number 10. Independent Activity 3. Match column A with column B. Write the letters of the correct answer. Next, identify what is asked by choosing your answer on the boxes. put a check mark in the box of your answer. Next, classify the following resources as renewable or non-renewable. So, put your answers in their corresponding column. So, in the first column, we have renewable resources, and in the second column, we have non-renewable resources. Next, draw a heart if the statement shows conservation of resources. Independent assessment tree, choose the letter of the best answer. So for number 1 to 3, here are the questions and the choices. For number 4 to 7, here are the questions and the choices. And for number 8 to 10, here are the questions and the choices. Next, what I have learned. Complete the statements below by choosing the correct word from the given choices. What I can do, make a slogan about the conservation of natural resources on a short bond paper. Make it attractive and visually appealing. Example, save the earth, save lives. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Nature will prosper. For what I can do, here is our rubrics for scoring. You will be graded based on the following category: craftsmanship, originality, and creativity. So your work should be exceptionally attractive, very neat, and with well-constructed words. The idea is genuine and exceptionally creative. A lot of thought was used. Assessment. Choose the letter of the correct answer and write it on your answer sheet. See pages 22 to 24 of Quarter 4, Module 2. Additional activity. Performance task number 4.2. Part A. Put a check in the yes box if you agree with the statements below and put a cross in the no box if you disagree. Next, Part B. Arrange the following words to create a statement about energy resources. So write your answer here in this box. Science 7, Quarter 4, Module 2, Sustainable Energy Resources. So these are what you need to have on your answer sheet. What I know, what's more, independent activities 1, 2, 3, independent assessments 1, 2, 3, what I have learned, what I can do, assessment, and the additional activities, which will be your performance task number 4.2. So if you are done answering with Module 2, upload your answer sheets in PDF format in your Google Drive folder. The path is Science 7, Quarter 4, Module 2. Or send them in JPEG format to my messenger. Thank you for attending our Science 7 online class. God bless you all.